Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. In this gentle space, you're invited to set aside the day's concerns and journey toward a quiet, comfortable rest. As you settle in, let your eyes grow heavy and your breath slow. With each inhale, notice the soothing swell of calm. And with every exhale, allow your mind to drift a bit further from any lingering tension. Picture yourself on a soft, dreamy path, one that will soon guide you to the sun-washed villages of Cinque Terre, pastel towns perched along azure waters, an Italian coastal lullaby waiting just for you. Breathe in gently and breathe out slowly, feeling the air pass softly through your lips. Let your shoulders relax, your muscles uncoil. You are here to rest. You are here to be held in a warm, serene tale that stretches out before you like the kindest of invitations. Allow yourself to bask in the promise of distant sea breezes and vivid watercolor sunrises. Know that this story requires no effort on your part, only the willingness to drift, to trust in the natural rhythm of your breath, and to float along a peaceful current of words. Let your surroundings fade into the background. Any small noises or subtle distractions can serve as gentle reminders that the world flows on and you are safe within it. Envision yourself bathed in a soft, reassuring glow, a faint light that helps you let go of your day. Your eyelids may grow heavier, and you can welcome that sensation, letting it feel like a gentle wave lapping at the shore. Breathe in, expanding your chest as you invite calm into every part of your being. Breathe out, releasing any weight or worry. Inhale, hold for just a moment, and slowly exhale. Notice how your body eases into warmth and tranquility. Sink into the present moment. There's no rush. Here, time stretches out comfortably, and you can float upon it as lazily as a boat, drifting in quiet waters. In the distance, you might imagine the faint hush of rolling tides, an invitation to let your mind meander toward the coast of Italy, where we'll soon wander through cobblestone paths and pastel houses perched on cliffs overlooking the Ligurian Sea. Let this image be the only thing you hold. If thoughts of your day approach, simply watch them drift by like clouds changing shape in a gentle sky, and let them float away. Now allow your awareness to rest on the steady, soothing presence of your breath. Feel your body gently melt, releasing any tension around your neck, softening your brow, letting your hands relax. There's no need to do anything else. If you wish, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Imagine, for a moment, the warm sun filtering through closed eyelids, the glow dancing like a promise of comfort. In a moment, the narrative will begin. You can watch it unfold as though from a distance, letting the story lull you deeper into rest. You're safe, you're calm, and you are so very ready to drift into the realm of dreams. Soon you find yourself stepping back from the center of the story, allowing the gentle narrative to unfurl before you in third person. You are free to fade softly into a place where the senses can immerse in color and hush. The day's cares are fading. Listen to your breath once more as the story unfolds, and let your mind nestle into a serene journey by the sea. The morning light rose over Cinque Terre in a tender hush, painting the pastel buildings in gentle washes of rose, lemon, and soft apricot. A traveler, whom we may call Sophia, woke to the faint stirring of gulls outside her shuttered window. She had arrived late the evening before, lulled by the distant whisper of waves that curled in the harbor below her tiny room. Now, the glow of dawn eased into the space, illuminating the modest interior, a worn wooden dresser, a single sunflower in a slender vase, and a bed pressed close to the open window. From this vantage point, a sliver of shimmering sea revealed itself, stretching out beyond the terracotta rooftops. As she stretched, Sophia could almost taste the promise of the new day, salt-tinged air and the perfume of flowers trailing along centuries-old walls. She rose slowly, pulling aside the linen curtain to let in more light. Far below, a fisherman steered his boat along the shoreline, the quiet hum of his morning routine, in tune with the day's first gentle breeze. The harbor was waking up in unhurried increments. A cat meandered across the cobblestones, disappearing behind a stack of woven baskets filled with lemons. Tucked just around the corner, an ancient fig tree rustled in the gentle wind. Sophia dressed with deliberate care, choosing comfortable walking shoes for the old stone paths that snaked through the hillside. She left her small inn and stepped outside into the golden hush, noticing how the sun glazed each pastel house in a serene light. Strolling along the village's main street, she could hear the distant clatter of dishes in a nearby cafe and smell fresh focaccia drifting from a bakery whose doors were propped open to the breeze. Though the day had barely begun, a sense of timelessness enveloped her, as though the pace of life here moved in the rhythm of tides, steady, natural, and soothing. She paused at a small piazza where locals gathered in a slow dance of morning routine. An older gentleman sipped espresso at a tiny round table. A pair of friends chatted softly, their laughter muted by the hush of the early hour. Feeling a gentle tug of curiosity, Sophia stepped inside a cafe lined with vintage photographs of fishermen at sea. The barista, smiling kindly, offered a warm greeting. Steam curled from the cappuccino he prepared, and the aroma mingled with hints of sweet pastry. Every sip Sophia took felt like a gentle embrace, soothing and awakening her senses in equal measure. When she left the cafe, the sun had climbed a little higher, illuminating the twisting walkways in brighter gold. Undeterred by the steep paths, she began a leisurely ascent toward the next village perched along the rugged coastline. As she ventured beyond the arches of the old town gate, the vantage opened up to reveal the sea glimmering below. Pale turquoise shifted into deeper blue where the water met the horizon, and in between, flecks of white foam decorated the surface like tiny blossoms Sophia's gentle footsteps carried her along a terraced hillside lined with grapevines. Ancient walls of stacked stone cradled the vines, making a patchwork of green fields that sloped gracefully toward the sea. Beneath her hat, she could feel the warmth of the sun at her brow, and a lazy breeze carried the scent of rosemary and wild lavender from the slopes above. In the distance, she noticed another pastel cluster of houses hugging the cliff, each building adorned with shutters and doorways in hues of periwinkle, coral, and pale mint. The effect was dreamlike, as though an artist's hand had gently dabbed watercolors upon the canvas of the landscape. Halfway along the trail, she paused under a pergola draped with blooming wisteria. Delicate purple blossoms hung overhead like clusters of velvety clouds, and the shade beneath them was cool and refreshing. She listened to the faint buzz of bees, happily at work among the flowers, and felt the quiet lullaby of the sea far below. She inhaled the subtle perfume of the wisteria, letting it calm her mind. The only other sounds were the soft crunch of her shoes on the path and the distant caw of a seagull. It was as if time slowed just for her, gifting her a moment of stillness and repose. Continuing onward, she reached the next village, finding it alive in its own gentle way. Laundry lines strung between windows, white sheets swaying in the breeze, and small shops with open doors, beckoning with the scent of fresh pesto and sun-ripened tomatoes. Sophia meandered past a fruit stand where peaches glistened in soft sunlight, and baskets of grapes spilled over in plump, jewel-like clusters. The shopkeeper offered a small taste, and she savored the burst of sweetness, the gentle pop of the skin releasing the cool juice. Her senses were enlivened, yet her spirit felt increasingly calm. Through another winding alley, she emerged onto a terrace that overlooked the harbor. Fishing boats bobbed, their hulls painted with bright stripes that mirrored the pastel tones of the surrounding houses. The sea spread out in a vast tapestry of blue, peppered with glints of sunlight. She took a seat on a nearby bench, resting in that hush, letting her eyes wander from the mellow outline of the cliffs to the gentle roll of the water. The breeze caressed her cheeks, brushing loose strands of hair against her forehead. Each breath filled her with quiet gratitude for the beauty around her. As midday approached, the soft hum of the village grew slightly louder. Families ventured out for a stroll. Vendors arranged produce on wooden crates. A few travelers admired the artwork displayed in open-door studios. Still, the atmosphere remained tranquil. The sun, high in the sky, seemed to embrace the pastel walls, making them glow like confections. Balconies overflowed with geraniums and vibrant reds and pinks, and the sweet aroma drifted downward in gentle waves. Sophia felt drawn toward the rhythmic lull of the sea, so she followed a stone staircase leading to a pebbled beach tucked at the foot of the cliffs. Downward she went, each step bringing the glistening expanse of water into sharper focus. Sea spray kissed her face, When she finally reached the shore and she slipped off her shoes to feel the pebbles beneath her feet, smooth and warm beneath the midday sun. With a careful step, she approached the water's edge. Small waves frothed around her ankles, cool and invigorating. The sound of the water, soft and persistent, felt like a cleansing lullaby. She lingered there, letting the waves roll over her feet in a gentle rhythm. A lone fishing boat drifted by, and she waved to the person aboard. They waved back with a slow, friendly gesture, mirroring the unhurried spirit of this place. The sea around Cinque Terre had a clarity that seemed to reflect the sky's softest tones. Above her, gulls circled in wide arcs, occasionally dipping down to rest on the rocky outcrops. The beach was not crowded, just a scattering of people reading, dozing, or quietly sifting through stones for bits of sea glass. If a conversation started, it was soft and melodic, carried away by the wind. Time felt suspended, as though everything existed in a comforting bubble of warmth and gentle sounds. Eventually, her feet carried her back, up the stairs, to the heart of the village, where she discovered a small eatery nestled beside a fragrant lemon grove. She was welcomed by the aroma of herbs and garlic mingling in the air. White curtains billowed at the windows, and she took a seat near an open archway where she could spy the azure sea. A friendly server brought her a simple meal of pasta with fresh pesto, the basil so vibrant it tasted like pure summer. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, letting the flavors remind her of the region's love affair with the land and sea. Every mouthful felt nourishing, its warmth and zest carrying her deeper into the landscape's gentle cadence. After her meal, she wandered along a hidden pathway that curled toward the next cove. The path was lined with lemon trees, their fruits glowing like tiny suns among glossy leaves. On one side, rows of vineyards climbed the slopes. On the other, the open ocean beckoned. She relished the interplay of shadow and light, the shade cast by ancient stone walls, and the sun glinting off the waves far below. It was a place where land met sea in a seamless whisper, and the hush of history interwove with the present moment. At the crest of a hill, she paused to admire a panoramic view. From here, all 5 villages of Cinque Terre seemed within reach, each perched gracefully along the coastline, pastel ribbons against the rugged cliffs. The horizon stretched on, meeting the sky in a hazy, dreamy line. Drifting clouds cast slow-moving shadows on the sea, their reflections shifting in quiet dances of light and color. She exhaled a soft sigh, grateful for this stillness. In that moment, she felt the centuries of stories carried by the wind, seafarers, villagers, travelers, all held gently by the same sea and land. She continued her gentle exploration, descending a slope toward another small harbor. The pathway became dotted with cacti and wild poppies, their scarlet petals a vibrant pop against the earthy rocks, and always the hush of waves below. Reaching the harbor, she noticed fishing nets neatly stacked along the quay. colorful buoys bobbed in the water, marking traps that had been placed to gather the bounty of the sea. A few fishermen mended their nets, their hands moving with practiced ease. One of them glanced up and offered a nod, a friendly acknowledgement of her presence. Everything felt welcoming and unhurried. In the afternoon light, the sea shimmered with a softness that reminded her of pearls. Pastel houses rose behind the harbor, their facades painted in gentle corals and yellows, with striped awnings shading windows. She found a small stone ledge near the water's edge and decided to rest there, letting her legs dangle over the side. The water below was crystal clear, revealing smooth stones and dancing currents of fish. The rhythmic slap of the waves against the harbor walls soothed her mind, each soft collision a cradle rocking her senses toward tranquility. Time flowed gently, and soon the colors of late afternoon began to melt across the sky. The warm daylight softened into a pale gold. In turn, the cliffs along the coast began to shift in hue. Gentle shadows stretching across the pastel facades. She felt as though she could watch these colors for hours, the way they changed as the sun drifted downward. The village's narrow streets glowed in that late sun hush, the walls reflecting a honeyed light. A calm settled over the waterfront, as though the entire village was preparing for a lull in activity. A slow breath before evening's welcome. When she felt drawn to move once more, she followed a cobblestone alley that led upward past terraced gardens and shuttered windows. The hum of gentle conversation drifted from balconies where neighbors chatted quietly, sometimes breaking into chuckles that echoed down the lane. Bits of warm golden light emerged from street lamps, faint halos guiding her way. She discovered a modest chapel at the top of a slope. Its doors were open, revealing a cool interior lined with rows of wooden pews. She stepped inside for a moment, enjoying the silence. The air smelled faintly of incense and old stone. A single, small, stained glass window depicted a scene of saints in soft blues and greens, the remaining light outside illuminating it from behind. It was restful, a place of reflection and age-old reverence. Stepping back out, she caught sight of the evening sky. The sun's descent was painting clouds in gentle mauves and peaches, a breathtaking tapestry of calm. A few birds soared overhead, silhouettes against the pastel glow. She wandered down a winding lane, noticing the first stars emerge. Village lights now sparkled, reflecting in small puddles left from a gardener's watering can. The hush seemed to deepen, as though the day's final exhale was underway. Drawn by the lull of gentle music, she followed the sound to a small courtyard where a musician quietly strummed a guitar. A table or two held guests enjoying simple fare: olive oil, bread, a little wine. Lanterns flickered with soft light. The melody was slow, the guitar's chords merging with the hush of the evening to create a peaceful lullaby. She found a corner seat, letting the tranquil notes wash over her. In that moment, it felt like all the warmth and color of Cinque Terre gathered in one gentle embrace, cradling each listener in a blanket of sound. After a while, the guitarist finished, and quiet conversation filled the space. She lingered just a little longer, tasting the crisp night air, watching the stars multiply overhead. The pastel walls, no longer bright, now took on a serene, moonlit quality. The narrow lanes and archways glowed in lamplight that shimmered against worn cobblestones. In this tranquil hush, time seemed almost irrelevant, replaced by a deeper awareness of peace. Feeling the pull of rest, she finally rose and ventured back to the small inn where her day had begun. Each step along the cobblestone felt soft, and the hush of the sea echoed below, an ongoing serenade that guided her through the village's quiet heart. A cat brushed against her leg, then padded off into the shadows. She paused for a moment at the door of the inn, gazing up at the star-filled sky. The gentle hush felt all-encompassing, holding her in its tender, protective care. When she entered her room, she set her shoes beside the door and took a seat near the open window. A soft lamp glowed in the corner, casting a circle of light upon the floor. The sea breeze drifted in, carrying a faint hint of salt and the memory of blossoming flowers. She let her eyes close for a moment, recalling the pastel cliffs and shimmering water she'd experienced throughout the day. The same air that had accompanied her travels now whispered good night against the curtains. With a slow, contented breath, she readied herself for bed. She changed into soft clothing, feeling each fold of fabric like a gentle embrace. Slipping between cool sheets, she sighed deeply, letting her body sink into the welcoming mattress. The hush of waves far below rose and fell, a lullaby that seemed to harmonize with the beat of her heart. She allowed her thoughts to float, free from the constraints of busy planning or lists. Here, the mind was free to wander, like a little boat adrift on gentle waters. Outside, the village had grown nearly silent, save for an occasional whisper of wind through the narrow alleys. A distant light bobbed along the water's edge, perhaps a small fishing boat heading out for a moonlit catch. The quiet felt vast and comforting, as though every sound that did appear was part of an orchestrated night song. She let herself be lulled by that hush, drifting easily toward the first soft edges of sleep. In the corners of her awareness, she recalled the terraces layered with grapevines, the pastel houses perched like shells along the cliffs, and the slow melody of the guitar under lantern light. These images filled her with warmth, their gentle presence smoothing away any tension. In this dreamy state, she was content to let the night envelop her, to let the hush of Cinque Terre become her companion in slumber. Now the story begins to fade into the background, leaving only soft echoes of pastel walls and the lull of rolling waves. Here, at the edge of your awareness, you can let the entire day dissolve. Notice how your breathing has become deeper, slower, more peaceful. Sense the gentle weight of your limbs, how they rest so quietly, so content. If you feel any last traces of tension in your body, allow them to melt away, replaced by a sensation of softness. With each breath, you drift closer to a serene, nurturing sleep. Let your thoughts become lighter, as if they're small clouds passing in an evening sky. Watch them float and transform, then gently dissipate. There is no urgency, no need to chase them. You are here in the safety of this moment, and everything that needs doing can wait. The hush of the Ligurian Sea lingers in your mind, a cradle of gentle waves rocking you into deeper rest. Should a thought arise, treat it with kindness, let it pass and return to the calm inside your breath. Feel the gentle rhythm of your heart, steady and reassuring. Let the warmth of your blankets nestle around you like the soft glow of a lantern on a quiet street. Imagine the pastel cliffs as they fade into night, the houses illuminated by moonlight and the starry sky overhead. Let their peaceful silhouettes become a lullaby for your mind, painting tranquil scenes that guide you farther into dreamland. If you wish, focus softly on the sound of your breathing. Each inhale brings in rest and comfort. Each exhale releases the remains of the day. Let your eyelids feel heavy. Let your cheeks relax. Unfurrow your brow and let every muscle from your scalp down to your toes be calm and at ease. It's a gentle cascade of relaxation sweeping over you in soothing waves. There's only this moment, still, restful, and folding. Feel the bed beneath you as though it were a boat, gently swaying in a safe harbor. You are moored to this moment of rest, protected and cared for. The day has come to an end, and you can sail off into the realm of tranquil dreams, guided by the hush of distant shores. Soft images may dance at the edges of your mind, glimpses of pastel villages and warm, golden skies, or perhaps the smell of fresh basil and bread. Let these gentle fragments rock you further into sleep. Each fragment a tender note in your lullaby. If the hush of nighttime or the space around you seems to shift, let it be a reminder that you are covered in the comforting blanket of evening, gently cradled by every breath. There is no right or wrong way to drift off. Simply allow your awareness to float like a leaf on calm water, drifting into rest without expectation or effort. Your body knows how to relax. Your mind knows how to dream. Trust in that natural wisdom. And now, dear traveler, your journey has reached its quiet close. Feel the subtle warmth of gratitude for the serene images you've encountered and the gentle promise of deep sleep that awaits. There is nothing left for you to do but rest. Sink into that soft darkness buoyed by the gentle music of waves and the memory of pastel cliffs. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well. May your dreams be as calm and comforting as the slow roll of the sea. Let the hush of the Italian coast be your lullaby, guiding you into a restorative slumber. All is peaceful now. Sleep and drift in the soft embrace of night's tender glow.